It's not a very big crowd, but it's a very focused one. I've been focused on you for almost since 2014. That's how many years? 5 years. So when I'm all the way down the road working on NEO, my belief of the future technology has changed a little bit. I used to be an enthusiast of Bitcoin. So back to 2013, 2014, everything is about Bitcoin. And starting slowly from 2016, people started to talk about blockchains. And then all of a sudden, everyone is talking about blockchains. But in the past 1 or 2 years, I started to look more forward. What's beyond blockchains? What are the trends of the future? So I'm trying to share my thoughts about the next phase, about what NEO will do in the next phase. Can I have a clicker? Okay. I believe that we are witnessing a paradigm shift of internet, or more broadly, computation. So human had witnessed a lot of paradigm shifts, but this one is very different. So in the past or current internet, it is trusted third-party based, because we need to do a lot of the essential of internet is to connect all of the computation resources together to form a bigger world computer. But because it's a connected network, we cannot do everything by ourselves. We need to delegate computation, storage, maybe network to third parties. And in current paradigm, we need to have a trusted third party to do the computation, to do the storage. But with the invention of blockchain, with the advance of cryptography schemes, we have the ability to shift from today's situation to the future verifiable proof-based computation. So everything that can, in the future, you don't need to have a trusted third party to do the computations. You can verify that it is correct by yourself. It sounds very easy, but there will be some very fundamental changes in the structure of the internet in the future. Next. Oops. So there will be three aspects of changes. The first one will be that user will have the ability to really own their data. So today's internet, because you want to use so many services, you have to give your data to the platforms. You need to share your private data with Twitter or maybe with Facebook. But in the future, in the new paradigm of the internet, you have the ability to control your data. You have own personal data pod. It probably will not be sitting in your hard disk, but it's somewhere in the cloud, but you are the only person have the key to delegate those data, to use those data. So that's the first aspect of change. The second is because data is not collected by those platforms. These applications, future applications or platforms or social networks will be browserized. Or in another word, it's not everything in one. It just provides a view of your data. So it's a kind of a gateway. It's not the data itself. You don't need to put the data onto the hand of Facebook anymore. So that's the second change. Applications are browserized or become the view. And the third exchange is even if you control the data, but if it is stored on a centralized infrastructure, it is still prone to seized by government or being corrupted by some data failure. So we will see a decentralized or distributed infrastructure. And those infrastructures will be layered and modularized. We will have a unified layer of maybe digital assets, currencies, a unified layer of account service, and also we will have different modules, including distributed storage, Oracle, or data feed, or other basic, very fundamental services. Next. So this is what the next generation internet might look like. I divided onto 4 layers. So the bottom one will be the content neutral network. It consists of different network protocols like TCP IP, HTTP or HTTPS, and it also consists of different cloud services. But everything is content neutral. So either the content is encrypted, or you have different backups or a distributed system that you are not relying on one cloud service. The layer above, layer 1, the content neutral network, is what I call a state or settlement layer. So it's basically a global ledger. So it maintains the global view of most important states. And there will be a lot of different systems. NEO will be one of it. It's a global state. It's a state machine. It's a settlement layer. And many other blockchains will also be active on this layer. And also, we still will have centralized global ledgers. And the layer above, layer 1, is what we call layer 2. I think a lot of people here are familiar, have been heard of layer 2 very frequently. So layer 2 will be of state channels, side chains, cross chains, and even some local ledgers. You can regard the ledger maintained by central bank, a global ledger, and a ledger maintained by local bank or commercial bank, or maybe a third-party payment processor, a local ledger. So most of the transactions will happen at layer 2 instead of layer 1. Even only the most crucial ones will happen at layer 1, because layer 1 is a world view. It's very expensive. It probably will be slower, much slower than layer 2. But layer 2 is almost instant. The fees are near zero, and you don't need to, and everything happens really fast at the transaction layer. And the upper layer is application layer. Most of the applications or decentralized applications will be built on top of layer 2. So this is my imagination of the next generation internet tech stack. You can call it next generation internet, or you can call it Web3, or in other terminology, but they refers to the same thing. And there will also be some shared modules or components that sits across different layers, like digital identity, like distributed file system, like Oracle, a data feed. Some of it may sit on layer 1, some layer 2, or some even layer 3. Next. So this great migration or shift of internet structure will ignite a new wave of different new tech startups. Today we have Facebook, Tencent, Alibaba in China, and these are the tech giants. But with this shift, these giants probably will be not so relevant in the future. Kodak is the inventor of digital camera, but we all know how the story develops with Kodak. And in the past, everyone think maybe with internet, everyone need a homepage. So GeoCities is one of the biggest provider of homepage. And all of a sudden, with the invention of blog, everyone has a blog. And nowadays, everyone has a Facebook account. And we don't know what's next. It probably is something that we've never imagined of. It's something completely different. And there are tremendous opportunities with this paradigm shift. Next. So what's NEO's role in the next phase? What we will sit at the 4-layered tech stack. Let's have a look. One more. So NEO will be focused on layer 1 and layer 2. We will definitely to improve our layer 1 technology to optimize NEO the blockchain. And we will invest more on layer 2 solutions. We will have our own state channel protocols. We will work on side or cross-chain protocols also. And we will also invest on those components like identity. NEO will release a white paper on NEO ID in the future, and there will be different implementations with NEO ID. Currently, there are 2 groups working on 2 implementations of NEO ID, one from Swisscom blockchain, and the other one is the project's called CertLedger. So that's NEO ID, that's a component. And also we will have our own NEO file system, or it's called a NEO FS. It's a decentralized blockchain-based file storage system. And a team in St. Petersburg is working on NEO FS, and they will give a presentation today. And then there will be a new functionality in the next generation or next version of NEO. It's called Internet Resource Access, or you can call it oracles. I will briefly introduce this feature later on. So NEO will be focusing on layer 1 and layer 2. To fulfill this dream, this goal, we need to improve our technology, the infrastructure. So we are also during a shift. We are moving from NEO 2 to NEO 3. Let's see what NEO 3 will provide. The vision, I would like to talk the vision first. The vision of NEO is always to become the open network for the future smart economy. But we have the vision is something very far away. We have a clear mission. The mission of NEO 3 is to provide the optical infrastructure for the mass adoption of blockchain technology and also token economics. So to fulfill this mission, we plan to have these changes. First, we will have a new architecture. We will have a very abstracted structure of different assets. So all the assets will be issued by a smart contract. With today's NEO 2, there are 2 special assets, NEO and gas. They are UTXO based. They are sitting outside of the smart contract system. They are kind of like native tokens. But in the future, it will be abstracted down to the smart contract. So there will be NEO and gas will be kind of NEP5 token that will be equivalent to other tokens. And the benefit is it will be much easier for smart contract to interact with NEO and gas tokens. And also all transactions will be generalized onto very few transactions because everything will become a smart contract. Every transaction operation will become a smart contract on the NEO 3 architecture. And also we will have very clear layering. NEO will be focusing on layer 1, and we will have our own layer 2 solutions. And the NEO, the layer 1 structure will provide native support for layer 2 technologies. And we also will optimize our consensus mechanism. The consensus mechanism of NEO is quite special. When we read about articles on blockchain regarding consensus, most of the time they divide consensus onto 2 groups, proof of work and proof of stake. But NEO is not either proof of work or proof of stake. It's a delegated Byzantine fault tolerance, or DBFT. It's very different. If you are a NEO token holder, you are holding the voting power of NEO network. You can pick who can be the consensus nodes. And once the consensus nodes is picked, they reach consensus every block in a Byzantine fault tolerance fashion. And the beauty of a BFT style consensus is it has perfect finality. Once you receive one confirmation, it's the final confirmation. You don't need to worry about your transactions be reversed. But in the past, DBFT is not perfect. We experienced some glitches with DBFT 1.0, and we are already working on DBFT 2.0, an optimized version of DBFT. And I still believe DBFT is probably the only consensus mechanism that can be used by a public blockchain and also suitable for financial and mass adoption, financial adoptions. And we will also improve our on-chain governance systems. Like I said before, NEO is voting power. But the problem of every voting system is how to encourage people to vote. So we are also facing this problem with NEO system, and we will work with academia, we'll work with industrial practitioners to see what is the best way to encourage, to incentivize NEO token holders to be responsible to vote for consensus nodes and possibly other issues. And then we will have new functionalities, including internet resource access. It will be provided as a native function with NEO 3. With NEO 3, you have the ability to request to visit an internet URL and get the result and be recorded on the blockchain. So it's natively provided at layer 1 level. And then we have NEO FS, we have NEO ID. And last is some security improvement. We will have a manifest and permission system that is very similar to what you saw with your iPhone or Android. Every app will request for a permission. Next. So talk about governance. I would like to share some updates about NEO's governance, how NEO Foundation, how NEO Global Development is working. So this is the governance structure of all the organizations under NEO. So NEO Foundation is at the top, and me and Eric Zhang, the two co-founders, are also co-chairs of NEO Foundation with other foundation staff. The mission for NEO Foundation is to make a strategy. That's the #1 mission. And the #2 is to use those reserved tokens to facilitate the growth of NEO ecosystem. So under NEO Foundation, there are different groups. The first one is NEO Global Development. It's an entity that can hire full-time staff to execute those strategies that is carried by NEO Foundation. And we have 2 offices, one in Shanghai, the headquarters. We have about 50 people in Shanghai, and the other one in Seattle, led by John. And in Shanghai, we have a R&D team, about 30 people. We have eco-growth team, which is working with the ecosystem to help them, and also the marketing team. And we also have international representative offices in a few places, including Korea, Japan, and Switzerland. And a part of that is our community. One of the most important is the core developers. Unlike other blockchain that are initiated from China, NEO is really built around a global community. It's not built by one entity or company under one roof somewhere in China, but it's contributed from all over the world. Currently, we have approximately 10 core developers. Only Eric is a co-founder. The other 9 core developers, they're in Europe, in US, in South America, and they are contributing in their own ways. And apart from those core developers, we also have sponsored most developer communities like City of Zion, like the NEO FS team in Russia, and many others. We have a dozen of those sponsored developer communities, and we are funding them with NEO tokens. Next. And we want to improve our governance. So we can divide it into on-chain and off-chain. With on-chain, we will improve the voting system, the economics, and we are also in the process of decentralization of consensus nodes. But the decentralization process will be, I won't say paused, will be slowed a little bit because we need to do a major upgrade from Neo 2 to Neo 3. It at least will be a hard fork. So we'll need to be really efficient before that. So the decentralization will not happen very quickly. We will need to upgrade from Neo 2 to Neo 3 first. That will take us about a year or maybe 1.5 years. And then we need to improve our off-chain governance. We will have a monthly report of Neo combined with Neo Foundation's update, NGD's update, the update from new developer communities and the core developers. And we will also release a biannual financial report every 6 months. So let's have a pick of the next one, the next financial report. So a financial report will be released in July this year. That's 2 months away. And a draft one will be released very soon, in a week or so. And for now, Neo Foundation is managing about 440 million US million equivalent of Neo and gas tokens. The price is as of yesterday. And also, we are managing non-Neo assets. That's Bitcoin, Ether, USD, or RMB, equivalent to about 20 million US dollars. And these numbers will be released on Neo's website, neo.org, in a week. Next. So here is the glance into Neo's ecosystem. We have hundreds of decentralized applications, and not like other blockchains, very, very few of them are betting, are casino games. So we have decentralized exchange. We have games like Neo Land. We have an upcoming game like a car racing game called Crypto Fast. We also have different decentralized or open finance applications like stablecoin, Alchemint. And we also have other platforms like Black Hat is a game platforms. And also many other infrastructures, NNS, the domain service, and dozens of different wallets. They all built on Neo protocol. Next. The previous one, yeah. So talking about exchange, the top 50 exchange, 70% of the top 50 exchange, they either listed Neo or gas or NEP5 tokens. So we can say most of the crypto exchanges, they are Neo friendly. And there are over 30 wallets that support Neo tokens. And we see a lot of transactions happening on Neo network every day. 50,000 plus daily transactions. And these transactions are real transactions, not sending their tokens to some casino or betting applications. And we have over 10,000 DAU of decentralized apps. And also the global developer community, or global, in a broader way, a global Neo community is everywhere, every continent in the world. Next. We would like to improve our ecosystem. Without ecosystem, a blockchain is, you can say it's useless. It's just a bunch of technologies. So we will have a eco boost plan in the next. We will have a exclusive 100 million US dollars as funding, the eco funding for the ecosystem that built around Neo. It can be used to seed projects, can be used to help decentralized applications to grow, and it can be used to incentivize people to help us to improve the infrastructure. And also it can be used to work with different institutions. And the support will be provided during the whole life cycle of projects. So if you are at a very early beginning, you can contact us. We can provide tech training. We can give you community support. We can also bring you with us to attend events like this. And if you are at a growth phase, you can contact us. You can ask for investment. You can also join events like this and many other things we can provide you, including technical support. And if you are matured, we will help you to get in contact with exchange, to get your product listed. We can help you with marketing, and we can also help you to improve your technology. Next. So if you are doing something on blockchain or something related, please drop us a line. Please talk to us. Send your email to eg@neo.org. I've been talking a lot about infrastructure. Infrastructure is not meant to be used directly by end users. It's more likely to be used by developers in the blockchain scope. So developer experience is really, really important. And that is also what we will focus on. Let's restate the mission: to provide the optical infrastructure for mass adoption of blockchain and also token economics. So how to do that? We decided to seek advice or help from those experienced people. And it is very lucky that I met John, and we started to think about how to prove the experience, and we decided to set up an office in Seattle. So the NGD Seattle office will be focusing on how to improve developer experience, how to get developer on board, and how to optimize those tools and integration of existing developer ecosystems. And today, John will do a brief demonstration of the work they've already done. Next. So John will demonstrate a new toolkit that will be integrated with Visual Studio. So you can work flawlessly inside Visual Studio, use your familiar language like C#, like Java. And also it will be very, very easy to deploy your own new private network with new Express node. So this will be demonstrated by John later today. And my last slide will be the philosophy. What makes NEO different? I talked about this quite a lot. I have been asked many times what's the difference of NEO, why we need a new blockchain, why we need something different from Ethereum or from Bitcoin. So my answer is this. The philosophy of NEO, the founders of the NEO community, and also everyone around NEO is this. We call us pragmatic idealisms. We share the same vision as the supporters of other blockchains like Ethereum, like Bitcoin. We are all idealisms. But the difference is at NEO, we are more pragmatic. We want to be more practical. Instead of knowing where we are going, we want to know what is the right approach to arrive there. We want to figure out what are the obstacles and how to work around them. So that is the big difference from NEO and other blockchains. And I believe with this approach, with this philosophy, and together, we will build a bright new world. Thank you.